Today we're doing the ultimate raid mode and story mode tier list, so I'll be showing you guys which unit is best for all the raids. We have a ton of raids now in the game, and I know a lot of you guys are wondering which unit should you use for each raid, and I got you guys. Also guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button and let me know if you want me to make my co-unit Toru meta for raids or infinite mode down below. And remember, you must be subscribed to get her. And also I'll be showing you guys which unit is best for story mode meta as well. All right, let's hop into it. All right, also guys, I'll put Sijin raid slash world 3 story. All right, so this tier will be for good world 3 units as well as Sijin because they overlap. So first up guys, let's go start off. S tier is going to be for meta for all. So this is meta for all raids. A tier is slightly decent, and then these are going to be for like the specific units that I recommend for each raid. All right, so first up we have Blackbeard guys. Blackbeard is easily meta for all raids. Highly recommend you pop him in your loadout if you're doing raids. All right, next up we have Kaido. Do not bring Kaido. He does not have an element. He is useless for raids, but he's all right for early stories. Rengoku, I believe he did get an element, but unfortunately he's really bad for raid modes because if you take a look, his starting damage is trash. 222 is not cutting it. Golden Frieza is very cracked. He's meta for the Spirit raid and Marine HQ. So if you're trying to do either of those raids to get maybe what's his name, Mochi or Katakuri, Golden Frieza is really good for that. All right, Kirito guys, unfortunately is not very good for raids in story. He's just not cutting it. I don't recommend you bring him. Ichigo, he's meta for some of the ones like Winterfell, but they did sort of remove Winterfell. You might still be able to find it. He's also meta for the Doflamingo raid, but overall guys, he's only meta some of the time, so A tier. All right, Jotaro is really nice time stop unit for raids. I'm gonna probably put him in meta. All right, I know you could technically use Gojo, but he is so cheap, I recommend you use him instead. The time stop difference is basically nothing. All right, next up we have Minato. Unfortunately guys, Minato isn't terrible, but his starting damage is so low. If you take a look at this, man, like this is just unacceptable. 600 starting damage. That, like, bro, we have units doing 10,000, 30,000, so don't bother. All right, next up we have Luffy. I'm gonna give Luffy B tier. He's not terrible for raids. You can definitely use him to help out, but he's not really meta either. All right, Giorno is actually decent for raids. I'm gonna give him A tier. He definitely helps out, but I don't really think he is required. All right, Goku unfortunately is infinite mode only, so I'm gonna have to give him an F tier. The path, guys, if you're doing the Hell raid, for example, if you're trying to get Diavolo, or you're trying to get Eraserhead, then you're definitely going to want to bring the path. He's very cracked out for that. All right, we have Whitebeard. He's not the worst in the world, guys. I'm gonna give him B tier. Rukia, again, B tier. Her freeze is nice, but is not super cracked. Gilgamesh, guys, you can't even afford him. Same with Kakashi. Guts, again, not really worth it. Maybe C tier. All right, Naruto GRR, not worth it. Naruto path, again, honestly, he's trash, guys. He does not, I don't think he has an element yet. I don't remember, but don't bring him. He's not the greatest. Token, same thing. Sukuna, though, guys, the nice thing about him is he has the dark element, so you can use him in every single raid as a decent unit, and he's just really OP, guys. Highly recommended for any story mode or raids. He's also a very good starter unit. This guy's trash. You can't afford these two. Itachi is very good for a lot of raids as well. I do believe he is meta, though, in any of the grass raids, but I don't really think there's a lot of grass raids. I'm gonna give him A tier. All right, he's definitely a good unit, but I don't think people use him a lot as the main DPS. This Sasuke, don't bring it. Gojo, all right, he's good, especially for if you're trying to do the Beerus raid. All right, this one right here, the Android raid, he's very good for that. This elemental guy, Perona, not very good. Unfortunately, these girls are not, I mean, honestly, she actually gets a bonus for money, so I'm gonna give her B tier just because of that. I don't know if I still have one in my inventory. Let me check. Yeah, I do. Look at this. So she does give a 15% bonus to money, which is actually pretty spicy. So yeah, you can definitely use her, sort of. Especially if you tag team her and Sukuna together, you can have a pretty great team. All right, you can have and you can also buff money. So she's actually a pretty good combo unit to bring, especially if you're using Sukuna as your main DPS. I recommend you have her in your leader slot, him, and then Speedwagon. Ram, unfortunately, not very good. Dia over Heaven, you can't afford. Frankie, nope. Can't really afford a lot of these units. Lightning Bolt does not have an element. Luffy does not have an element. Trash, no element. No, I mean, honestly, this guy, you can kind of use him for free, so I'll give him some credit. The boys, nope. Aokiji, maybe, but not really. I don't really recommend it. Madara, unfortunately, no. Rengoku, no. Speedwagon, easily, guys. Meta for pretty much every single raid. Definitely have him on your team. Elite Warrior actually did get a nice buff, so I'll give him B tier. Levi Rage is decent enough for B tier in my mind. Edel, he's slightly worse, but if you're doing Marine HQ or Spirit Raid, he's not the worst thing in the world. Death of Kid is actually not terrible. B tier for me. Tengen, guys, he kind of fell out of favor, but if you are doing Sijin Raid or World 3, he's actually pretty good, as well as his reskin Black Sun. All right, definitely those two units are not a bad look if you guys are doing that raid. All right, next up we have Planter. Unfortunately, not really recommended, but he's not the worst in the world. I'll give him C. I'll give him like high C tier. Uryu, I'll give him high C tier. He's decent, maybe good for Sijin Raid and World 3. So we'll give him some credit, guys. He's not the greatest for this, but he works. All right, frick, I forget this guy's name, but he was okay. Aaron is okay, not terrible. Mikasa, she's actually pretty good for a lot of raids. I'll give her A tier. Boros, he's decent for World 3, but only decent enough to give him like B tier. I don't recommend him. All right, here's actually a dark horse, man. Not a lot of people know this, but Vegeta, Blue Vegeta's actually cracked for Sijin Raid and World 3. Like, literally, this guy is busted OP. Highly recommend you use this guy. I didn't realize how good he was until I used him in the Winterfell raids. All right, this is anti-hero. He's actually really good. I'll give him A tier. Baby Vegu is a pass. She's not the greatest. I do believe she does have an element though, so C tier, sure. Kaiba, not recommended, but he did get rebalanced, so I don't recommend him though. Hit is okay. Okay, Amelia does have that freeze, so she's good for those raids. Boros is good as well. However, right now, because of the unbroken buff, you definitely want to use this guy instead of what did I say? Boros, Brook. Jiren, you can kind of use him in raids, but I don't recommend it. Mihawk, you can kind of use him in raids, still don't recommend it. Blue Satan, not really recommended. Not really recommend you bring him, but he's not like the worst. Same thing with this guy. They're not the worst, but they're not. There's better options out there, but they're not the worst. I think you can still place her. I forget. Yeah, you should be able to. All right, these guys are okay. You might be able to get away with them, but not recommended. This guy, yeah, not recommended at all. Obito, guys, a lot of people do like to bring Obito to the raids, but he's not recommended anymore. Yugi, you used to be able to use him in raids, but now you can't really afford him, so we'll give him like C tier. This guy, not recommended as well. I'll give him just a pass. Poseidon, they kind of rebalanced him, so you can kind of use him sort of. Dual Servant, not really, but C tier. C tier, C tier. Again, Roy Mustang is just not the best burn unit anymore, so not really recommended. Zamasi, you can't afford him. Beerus, again, he does give the money buff, so we'll give him some credit. Big Mom, a lot of people like to use her for raids for some reason, not really sure why. This guy is actually decent as well. I'll give him B tier. Deku is eh. Blue Goku, he's not impossible to use, so maybe low C tier. Alucard is okay, not like the worst thing in the world. Killua, a lot of people like to use Killua. He's okay for Spirit Raid, but I'm gonna give him C tier. I don't necessarily recommend him. Gon, they kind of nerfed Gon too much, so I'm gonna give Gon like C tier. Dragon Daughter, don't use. Goldie Roger isn't bad, B tier. This Whitebeard, you can maybe use him somewhat. This guy's underrated. I'll give him C tier, but check him out. He's actually not that bad of a unit, but again, you might as well just get Tengen instead. Plus, you can't even get this guy anymore. He's unobtainable. Announcer, come on, please. Why is he even on here? C, there we go. A Doflamingo is not really a raid unit. He's more infinite mode. Escanor, you can maybe use him. Not these guys are trash. Honestly, this guy isn't terrible for raid mode, but you can only place one of them, which is kind of a big no-no. But you know, these guys are decent. Broly's not really the greatest, but you can kind of use them. This cooler is underrated though. You can definitely spam him. He's good for like the early waves. But yeah, these guys not recommended. These two guys are like, this guy is one of the ones they add, like these two they added. They're okay, but they're not the greatest. Not recommended. King Vegu, Zoros, not recommended either. But I mean, they're not the worst thing in the world. So again, you can kind of use them. Metal Cooler, easily like OP, guys. I'm pretty sure you need him to beat the Shadow Island raid for Navy. Monkey King is decent. Raku is actually half decent as well. Good enough for B tier. This guy, they nerfed him too much. This guy, not recommended. 02, unfortunately, they nerfed my 02, so right now she drops to the C tier for now. Unfortunately, until they buff her again. Once they buff her, you know, to the moon. She's not bad, but she's more of a freeze unit. Wamu, not the greatest. Not the greatest either for these guys. I would probably just don't even bother. Him, don't even bother on these guys. Ryan, you can actually use him, so I'll give him A tier. He's actually underrated for raids. This guy is really good as well. He's light, I believe. Definitely really good for those raids. I honestly might even say he's better than Frieza. It's close. It's probably more like this. Considering how easy Frieza is to get. This guy is okay. Diavolo, he's kind of a dark horse. He's okay. Gohan, nah, not really recommended. Both the Gohans, they're not terrible, but yeah, you can kind of use them. This guy, you can kind of use him, I guess. This guy is actually not that bad. This guy, he's kind of hard to afford, but you can technically use him, so we'll give him some credit. All right, she is okay, but I don't really recommend her. She's technically a raid mode unit, but I don't really see anybody using her, so I'd say hard pass on her. Ace, this Ace is A tier. The other Ace, though, is cracked out of his mind. Easily S tier. I don't know if I necessarily know he's meta for all, but he's meta for most. This guy, he's okay. He's better than Uryu, so B tier. Not the greatest. Not the greatest. This guy, a lot of people use him for raids. I think he's actually technically meta for, I think it's a Sijin raid he's good for. But Kurama is trash, guys. Do not bring Kurama to a raid mode or I will slap you, bro. Oh my gosh. Rimuru isn't the worst, but not the greatest. Sasuke 7-star, I'll give him Sasuke 7-star meta for all, but I definitely recommend Sukuna over it. However, this is really good cheap air defense. So if you need, so I think Sasuke like slaps like the first like 10 ways of air for just on placement. So definitely really good. And if you use my hack, you can place him on the start. This Naruto is actually cracked as well. He is definitely meta for Spirit Raid. He is okay. Yami isn't really a raid mode unit. Cars, not really. Navy, though, very good for Sijin Raid and World 3. Ichigo Hollow isn't the worst thing in the world. I'll give him like A tier. This guy, normal Ichigo, maybe A tier. Maybe actually not A tier, more like C tier. Not terrible, but not the greatest. C tier is not in order, guys. I'm just saying right now. C tier is not in order. B tier is not in order. A tier is not in order, but S tier is pretty much, I'd say, in order. Katakuri 6-star is very decent. A tier. Katakuri 5-star is decent as well, I think. Yeah, maybe B tier. You can technically use it. Eraserhead is supposed to be good for Hell Raid. I mean, they're not bad for Hell Raid. Same with Super C. They're not bad for Hell Raid. I'd say they're passable. This Ichigo is honestly really good for starting out. I'll give him A tier, like a high A tier. He does so much damage on placement, but you can only place one. Android is decent. Last Master hasn't been added to the game yet, so I'll have to put him in F tier. Jackie Chun, do not use. This guy is electric, and he also has like, he's really good. So I'm gonna give him, I don't necessarily think you need him for all raids, but he's very good for Spirit Raid. I'll put him like that. Humber is good, but he's more of an infinite mode unit. Katakuri 6-star is very good. A tier easily. Probably should go like this. Wait, which one's the 7th? No, this is the 7-star. Yeah, the 7-star is decent enough for A tier. This guy is cracked out, man. Especially if you give him the right water orb. Oh my gosh, man. Meta for sure. This guy, he's good enough for A tier in my mind. He's a decent unit if you use him correctly, but I don't know if he's meta. G is decent enough. Not the greatest. Same with him, but if you give him the water orbs, like, they're really good. Really good. This guy's underrated. He's definitely a dark horse right there. She is cracked out. I'm honestly might even put her meta for all raids, but she has a really cool ability, so I'll put him meta for all raids. Octo, definitely very good unit to use meta for all raids. Trash. B tier. I see some people using her, but I don't recommend her. Denji doesn't have an element yet, so meta for all raids, but I'd probably say A tier or meta. If they give him an element, he'll definitely go into meta. He is all right. C tier. These guys don't have elements, so you can't really use them. maybe B tier. You can technically use her, but she needs an element. So hopefully they give her like a fire element or a light element or dark element or something. Kiggery, like trash. So there you go, guys. There's the story mode and raid tier list. Let me know what you guys think, if I missed any of the story mode meta. Some other units I don't think I talked about because you guys already know about them, is Irwin. All right, which one is he? Is Irwin? He is very, very good for story mode as well. You can also get away with using sometimes Flower Magus is good. And I don't know why Shinobu didn't make it on this list either, but Shinobu used to be good, but I don't really recommend her that much anymore. I don't know why she's not on the list. So those are some other good units you can use. They're probably all in about A tier. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tier list. Let me know if I missed anything, and I'll update it in the next tier list. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.